which began construction in 1706 and finished in 1722. It's the home of 7 royal governors. That gentleman there is the first. His name is Alexander Spotswood. Directly across from him is the 6th royal governor in the round plate. That's Norborne Berkeley Baron de Batatai, which is simply known as Lord Batatai. And we like him. Even to this day, we hold him in high esteem. His statue standing out in front of the College of William and Mary. There's a county or two that bears his name here in Virginia, even a street in Williamsburg, which looks like it should be pronounced Botitort, but it's Batatai. It's named for him. But he dies in 1770, and he's replaced by the man on the other side of the window. That's John Murray, 4th Earl of Dunmore, Viscount Fincastle, which is simply known as Lord Dunmore. We don't like him. He leaves in a bit of a hurry on June 8, 1775. Then we have a year interim that we're not really sure what's going to happen. On May 15th of 1776, Virginia declares independence, becoming the first colony to actually break away from Great Britain. We instruct our delegates to the Continental Congress in Philadelphia to ask the other colonies to also levy for independence. We then become the Commonwealth of Virginia, and we elect our first governor. His name is Patrick Henry. He lives here in the House for 3 years, followed by Thomas Jefferson, who's now the 2nd governor. But in 1780, Thomas Jefferson decides to move the capital 40 miles inland up to Richmond to a more defensible location. So this becomes a vacant building. But it's being used as a hospital after the Battle of Yorktown just down the road when it catches fire on December 22nd, 1781. Within 3 hours, the main house completely burns to the ground. We sell off any of the brick that's left above ground, cover the foundations with dirt that remains that way for well over a century. But the building you're in now, and there's one directly opposite across the courtyard, these are advanced buildings. They're offices, living quarters, really whatever needed for. These are standing all the way up to 1862 when they're destroyed in the Civil War. So after that, nothing of the original palace left above ground. But in the 1920s, there's actually a school sitting on this site that we remove and build a new one on the far side of the wall today called the Matthew Bailey Elementary School. That frees up this site, and we start doing some archaeological excavations, and we unearth the original foundations of the palace, which I know is a little difficult to see, but this is a photograph of the original foundations unearthed. And at the end of the tour, if you'd like to, you're more than welcome to go down there and explore. Everything below ground is original. When the palace burned, it basically imploded, landed on itself down into the cellars, so it sort of preserved it in a very strange kind of way. But during this dig, we also unearthed the remains of 156 men and 2 women that are buried just behind us here in the garden. The men being soldiers that succumbed to their wounds or disease. They suffered at Yorktown and William were nurses that were tending to them. Just due to the confusion of war, they were forgotten about for well over a century. Once we unearthed them and figured out what they were, we covered them back up. Now there's a designated military cemetery in the back. So if you see it, there's 158 people buried in the square. But with the foundations unearthed, we're going to start reconstruction of the palace. So we look at some notes that Mr. Jefferson left us while he was governor. He took notes on everything. He gave us the room dimensions, wall thicknesses, ceiling heights. He even took his tape measure out and measured exactly how far apart the trees are on Palace Street. So we took his notes and put them in the same place. Didn't tell us what the exterior of the building looked like, so we had to rely on that plate, which is right next to Lord Batatai. It shows us all the major buildings of Williamsburg mid-18th century, including the governor's palace. So we determined this is a scalable drawing, blow this up, and we actually built the palace on its original foundations in 1934, making this a reconstructed building. With that being said, even though it is reconstructed, there are quite a few original bits and pieces of the house. If things were good enough to be reused after the fire, we reused them. So there are a lot of tiles and fireplace inlays that are actually original to the building. Also, when Lord Dunmore left, we took all of the stuff that he had in the house, put it on the front lawn, and we held an auction. And a lot of local families purchased these items. They were handed down from generation to generation until finally in the 1930s onward, those families are more than happy to donate or sell these back to us. Find anything from the house original to the actual building. If it's not original to the house itself, most likely it's original of the period, which is why we kindly ask you not to touch anything. The floors in the house also are original to the period. This is 250-year-old southern yellow pine. It's impervious to everything but soda, candy, and chewing gum, and I guess now hamburgers. So if you do have any of that stuff, just make sure it's closed up. There's a clay pot just outside this building. You can leave your gum in. If you want it back later, come back and get it. That's all. But do please take pictures inside. The flash is perfectly fine. The only thing we ask you to not do is take pictures while you're on the staircase themselves. Once you're above stairs, that's okay, and below, just not on the stairs. But any questions, we actually head into the house. All right, why don't we start heading on inside? So there are a couple of steps coming out of this building, so just be mindful of those.
Hello.
Get you in. Where are you folks from? Connecticut, Old Park, Connecticut. My friend. My mother's from Darien.
Are any of the brick from the original or?
Below ground it is. Above ground, not really. We had to import this brick over and make some ourselves. So all the brick is reconstructed, at least above ground. Now you folks are welcome to start coming on in. There's a couple of rooms on either side of us. There's a pantry and the secretary's office just over here. Once we all get in, I'll tell you what these are in more detail.
So if y'all want to go upstairs, I'll go upstairs and take off.
And as you folks are coming in, do take a look at the rooms on either side. To your left is a pantry, to your right is the secretary's office.
I saw the floors first.
And remember the last folks are, if you wouldn't mind just closing the doors behind you. The right one goes in first. Now again, the rooms on either side of you, to your left, pantry, that's the housekeeper's area. So any deliveries that are going to come into the house, they're going to be received in that room. She's also going to keep an eye on some of the more valuable items, such as the silver service, the spices, the crystal, all of which you see on display in there. Typically that door's going to be closed, because that's a domestic side that you're not really trying to show the general public. But across from that, the secretary's office, that's where you're going to go if you have any official documents that you need to have signed, sealed, filed, you need to register a ship, get a license, anything of that sort. At the end of the day, we remove the secretary's desk from the middle, put it off to the side, put on a card table. That then becomes an entertaining section. So a couple of items in that room, the inlay of the fireplace, the deer motif, that's original to the house itself. The tall case clock over to the right is more Dunmore's actual clock. That was sold at auction, returned here to the palace in the 20th century. Before being down in the
That's super.
But as you look at those rooms, I'll go ahead and tell you what this is called the front hall. And this is the only
Just tell them I would have to put you over to
the
the
first
side.
room that you're going to come into if you have any business with the government. But you can't just walk in here off the street. You're going to
No,
ask
that's
the
cool.
you're standing at the door, they're going to ask you who you are and why you're here. They're either going to show you back out to the gate, or they're going to let you in. More often than not, you're going to be shown back out to the gate. But if you get into this room, it's just meant to impress you. Anything impress anybody about the room? What's the first thing you notice when you walk in here?
The floor.
Yeah, there's quite a few weapons on the wall. But the floors are absolutely right. You as a typical Virginian in the 18th century walking in here, the first thing you're going to notice is the floor. This is the first marble floor in Virginia. The white tile was imported from England, the black tile is from Belgium. You as a typical Virginian live out in the countryside in a farmhouse that's maybe half the size of this room with a packed dirt or wood floor if you're lucky. So setting foot on marble, it's going to be absolutely amazing. But I think something would probably be amiss if you're standing on this nice marble looking around and you don't notice all the weapons on the wall. These belong to the colony, not the government. They're here to remind you who's in charge, to show you the power and authority of the British government. In case you ever forget who's in charge, above the archway you see the coat of arms of Queen Anne. She's the queen when the palace was originally built, so this is actually in her honor. That, by the way, is an antique. That's an original coat of arms. But above the closet door, you see the current monarch. That's King George III, the Hanoverian monarch. But what you'll notice about his coat of arms at the bottom says, Dieu on the bottom, God in my right. That's the king's divine right to rule. He is king because God said he was king. But who told us that God said he was king? The king. Yeah, the king told us that. So it's really an illogical thought, but we're starting to question a little bit at this time. But if you wonder what the different parts of the royal coat of arms mean, the lion on the left, that represents England. The unicorn on the right represents Scotland. That's the uniting of two kingdoms to make the United Kingdom that we know today. What you'll notice about the unicorn is he is in chains. He's being subjugated. He's not really in this voluntarily. But the one you should probably feel sorry for is Wales. There's no representation in the coat of arms at all. But around the middle, you see Honi soit qui mal y pense, which is honor evil to he that thinks evil. Basically saying don't think bad things about the king. But we're starting to do that. But again, that's reminding you that the governor is the king's representative here in Virginia. So his word is to be obeyed. And you really shouldn't be fearing these weapons because you're a loyal out of this house to be used in the French and Indian War, and then again in 1774 to fight a campaign in Ohio. That's the last time the weapons are used under the royal government. After that, the royal government leaves the house. Some young men from college come in, they take down the weapons and turn them into the magazine. But when they did that, they didn't inventory what they took out of these rooms. So we used their inventory to put them back up in the house. So we have 540 weapons here today. We start learning about the 1711 under Alexander's Colonial, each governor after that adds to it, and we're done, we're having 540 here in the house. But if you're wondering what these are small swords issued to non-commissioned officers and enlisted, not the general or anything. But the broadswords are just that, broadswords. These are English basket-hilted cavalry swords, not to be confused with the Scottish claymore, which is very similar, only difference really being the loop in the basket to allow range to be passed through. The pistols that you see above the mantle and fanning the coat of arms, those are horse pistols, 18 of them. The inventory says there were 18 horse pistols without locks. I have no idea whether there were locks on them, but we put 18 back up without locks. Now the muskets are probably the most interesting thing here in the house. These are called brown best, that's a generic term for them. But they're really just 75 caliber muzzle loading muskets. And the two lower ones here at the bottom are reproduction. The darker ones above that and above each of the doors, those are original. They're actually used in the French and Indian War and the American Revolution. There's about 80 originals in the house. You can generally tell they have a darker stock than the reproduction. If folks have any questions about anything you see down here before we actually head up to the private quarters of the guard? All right then, well in just a moment we can head above stairs and see the private quarters, but as we're going up the staircase, we're just going to stay to the left in case some folks decide to come down the other side. I know that seems counterintuitive, but the left is the best way for us to do it. When we get to the top of the stairs,